Oh my God, look at how white I am. No wonder black people give me dirty looks all the time. Speaking of black people, I haven't done any videos on Ireland in a while. And I'm so proud of my people. So proud. I'm not going to go down my CV, my Irish CV, people I've lived with, people live with me, my connections to the country. But I will say this. I'm the least Irish out of my entire family. My family is hardcore. Always have been. I mean, you know, I don't know how hardcore I actually want to... Yeah, some of them don't want to say how hardcore they are. But, yeah, we're all big supporters. As a younger guy, I wasn't all that interested. I was, mainly because it was a family thing. And I always kind of, did whatever my family wasn't doing. You know, a lot of times when they would go over there, I was always invited to go, but I was like, well, could I have the house myself and have my friends over, or later on girlfriends, whatever, or I could go on a family vacation. I regret that now because shit, man, I'd love to go there. But I've done videos before on the situation over there. Basically what's happening there is the same thing that's happening in every single city in the West, or, well, more to the point, anywhere there's white people. And what they're doing is they're importing tons of people that can never live harmoniously with them. Usually Africans from Africa. Certain areas get Muslims. Bulgaria, I guess, gets a lot of Indians from my vampire friend. Bodybuilder guy. Looking good. Yeah, he was saying they get Indians. But in Ireland, they're getting a lot of Africans. And remember, this is a country now, Africa. I have a friend here on the island from Zimbabwe, where over in that country, grape, I guess you could say, is just a part of life. It's like a part of adolescence. Like, just, it's kind of looked at as boys being boys. They try to keep these images off the internet, but if you go on to like Yandex and search there, you can see that in the different parts of the country, you know, most of the parts of the country, they have billboards telling people not to grape. You're like, real men don't grape, and please stop grape, and like these cartoon drawings of these guys hacking women. It's crazy. You know, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of violence. They burn each other's tires. All kinds of crazy shit that people over there. So they're bringing them over to live in these little Irish villages. There was one place. It was in the UK. It wasn't in Ireland. It was in England, where they brought 1,200 of them to a village of 800. Yeah. So I mean, it's happening everywhere, right? Everyone's dealing with it. Ireland is the only country that I've seen so far, and they've been doing it for a while, to say fuck you no, and strike back with violent protests, burning down the buildings where they were going to house the migrants. Well, you know, I shouldn't say that. We don't know who burned those buildings down. I think it could be climate change. You know, because climate change does stuff like that. You don't understand how bad climate change is. You can't see it right now, but the street and the ground I'm walking on is actually melting. It's melting into the earth. Climate change is killing us all, and we don't even know it. So I think those particular buildings that were supposed to house the immigrants are being affected by climate change. A new thing I saw today on Twitter was a group of migrants had beat up a kid, a local kid. So they all showed up, like a lot of people from the town showed up at the migrant shelter, gathered outside it, screaming, yelling, throwing things. And the last video I saw was them at the front door trying to kick it in. They were updating this as it went on with the migrant people up in the window, yelling, you know, whatever they were yelling, beating through it or whatever. They did, they're liars, you know. It's just so wonderful. Now, even though there's video of a crowd there to break in and take care of those migrants, that they beat the kid pretty bad, I guess. Probably for no reason, just, you know, they hunter-gatherers, you know, they're gonna hunt and gather. You put them into a city, they're still gonna hunt and gather, and in this case, they're since there's nothing to pick and there's no animals, they're just gonna hunt people and steal items. So that's what they do, you know. And just because we saw them, the crowd out in front of the building, and some people kicking the door in, it doesn't mean that's not climate change either, you know. I mean, climate change can do anything. You know, they've told us this, you know, it's everywhere. We can't do anything to stop it, except, well, getting rid of our cars, not eating meat, eating bugs. There's a lot of things you can do. World Economic Forum is very clear about what we can do. But, yeah, they're just not having it. And I think it's great. Yeah, maybe you got one, do it. Just come over here for a minute and see. I gotta listen. I don't think so, though. I think that's just disgruntled. Stick around a second anyway to see. Another one here, right here. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like we have a lot of people that, I mean, this one right there, there's one right here that have mental episodes. They're having, you know, mental episodes. A lot of it is possession, you know. But with possession, it's usually a rat-tat-tat. It's like, you know, it's like that. I've had them on here before. A lot of these people that are out here just have, you know, mental health issues. A lot of them are like harmless though, like the guy, you know, they'll yell for a few minutes and then just be quiet. I know some of them that I talk to regularly, that I know the spots they're in. When I talk to, they get weird about filming, so I try to stay away from them for that. And the regular guys that I'll patronage or Patreon, give money to, cigarettes, whatever, you know, and ask them how they're doing and stuff. A couple guys like that near along, and like I'll walk up on them and they'll be going, what, yelling or just, you know, acting out over something. And then when I get up to them, like, hey man, how you doing? And they just act totally normal. There's another one across the street right there. It's 3 of them. That guy is, I think, is that Dale? I know, no, that's not Dale. I know he's that guy across the street is one too, but yeah, there's a lot of just people that should really be getting help. You know, what do you do? I mean, they closed the asylums down, and now if you have to go in, you go into a psych ward. Like I've been in psych wards and stuff, but there's no long-term care. I mean, they'll keep you for a while in the ward as long as your insurance is paying for it. But once your insurance doesn't want to pay for it, they get thrown right out. The places they close down where some of these people should be, the long-term care places, they aren't around anymore. And like jails have become the replacement for these things. Like there are people in jails that shouldn't be in jails. You know, they have mental health issues, and they don't belong there, you know. White people, you know, even. Yeah, it's sad. Like when they closed all these places, I think the early 80s. And what's weird too is, what is it with this? Every town, or every other town, has an abandoned mental asylum, right? Not torn down, still like standing, like everyone. Like, go on YouTube and look at like those guys that go around and they do urban exploration. How many of those do you see? You know, the old something asylum, it's all still intact. Why are all these asylums still intact? What's going on under these buildings? You know, is there something with that? Because why isn't that land being sold and redeveloped? Like, it never is. There was one up near my house, because of course every other town has one, and they did demolish a lot of it and rezone the land for commercial purposes. They were going to build like an office park there, I guess, but then toward the middle of the 2010s, the office parks started losing a lot of their tenants and the whole office park. Realty business kind of imploded, and there are empty office parks everywhere. So I don't know what happened to it, but Danvers State, it was Danvers State Mental Institution. I think, I mean, last time I checked, it was still there. You know, it was still up. They had torn down part of it, but I got to look at that. But yeah, so it's good that they closed these places because there was a lot of abuse going on. One of my friends let me borrow some books of his. He took psychology in college and gave me a couple of books about mental health industry that for me to read. You got to check these out. Basically, what would go on is families that would have someone that was like off script, you know, that's saying some weird stuff, maybe talking about whatever the equivalent was to 311 in their days. 311 was an inside job, come original. They would just put them right in, and they could do whatever they wanted to them. They were doing all kinds of weird experiments with water. There was this whole chapter about how they were trying beating therapy, like beating the crazy out of them. And everything was done sort of, the beatings were done kind of scientifically. It's fucking awful. Some rich families who just wanted to get rid of family members for whatever reason, there was some kind of embarrassment to them that weren't even crazy. They would pay these places to take them, and they would take them. It's nuts, some of the abuse that would go on, but it was good that they got rid of that system, but now it's just the street or jail, and that ain't a good replacement. And as the world gets crazier, you're having more people like that, you know. It depends on the person too. Like, different people handle different things. There are people that have a lot less heavy diagnosis than I have, but they are a lot worse, you know. Like, I got some pretty heavy duty ones. I was just talking to my doctor today. I still see a therapist every month. We talk on Zoom, and he's old. He's a very well-respected guy. He's something of a minor celebrity here. He's traveled the world, been in every country, studied in every country. He's surprisingly into a lot of holistic stuff. You know, supplements and things, and his big thing lately is probiotics and how important it is to take care of your gut health and all this stuff. But a smart guy, but he's so old that he's getting like, I don't know, almost like a Alzheimer's type of thing. And it's like he'll ask me the same things every time. So today he was like, what was your last diagnosis again? And I'm like, well, my last major one. And he has all this information. And I told him, I'm like, yeah, I could pull my records out if you... No, just a refresher. And the last major one was 2012, was dissociative identity disorder, which took like 5 years to get that diagnosis. I think they misdiagnosed me with the schizophrenia. I think that was the first one I got in 2008. And the reason I think I got the schizophrenia is because both sides of my family had it. And there is a comorbidity between schizophrenia sometimes and VID. VID is a lot more rare. But it's, I could see how some of the symptoms I was exhibiting at the time when I first went in the hospital could be misconstrued as schizophrenia. But I don't know, and maybe I do have schizophrenia. I don't fucking know. I just fucking go along with what they tell me. Or I used to. I used to go along with what they tell me. Because when I first got into the industry, or because it's a for-profit thing, it is an industry, I was of the mind, well, these guys went to school for it. I hadn't been red pilled on doctors at all, or the field of medicine. It's like 2007, right? And so I just figured, well, these guys know what they're talking about. They went to school for it. I'm just going to listen to them. And I did. And it almost fucking killed me. It almost killed me. Because they put me on so much shit. Why would you wait till I'm going, then you want to drive? Fucking people are insane. Yeah, they put me on so much shit that I gained all kinds of weight. My health went down the shitter. I was on everything. When it first came out, I was on 9 medications. 9. And a lot of these you take more than once a day. You take several doses, like several times a day. All I did was sleep. Like 16, 18 hours sleep. Which for them is success, because the more I'm sleeping, right, the less I'm talking crazy. So for them it was good. Over time, though, I began to learn more, understand more. And now, I wish I knew what I knew now back then. Much like your faces. Because, like, they don't... It's not an exact science. It's barely even a science if you go by the scientific method. The only thing they have to make their diagnosis with is observation and feedback from the patient. They have nothing else. They can't, like, hook you up to a machine and see what you... I mean, with the brain, they can see damage and stuff, or how different centers react to things, but they can't get... That's not how they get a diagnosis. They can't get a diagnosis that way. It's not like having a broken bone or something. So, a lot of times, these guys are just winging it. And the thing that sucks, too, is like, they, whenever a new guy comes in, again, you'll change, like, usually at all times they'll have two doctors. One is a talker, and one is a drug person. One writes the scripts, one just talks. There's a therapist, a psychiatrist. And there's a lot of turnover here. So there's always new people coming in. You'll see one person that you'll tell your whole life story to, and 2 months later they're gone. Then someone else comes in. I had my origin story down better than like the fucking Superman one. You know, I knew exactly, I could tell you names, dates, times, you know, my major enemies, all this other kind of shit. I had that down because I had to tell so many people. And then when a new person comes in, like a new psychiatrist, they always want to erase what the other guy did when it comes to drugs, like medications. Like, oh, so what does he have you on? Oh, okay, well, we're going to try this. And a lot of times they don't do it because they think you're going to benefit from it. They want to do it because, well, I know what I'm doing, he didn't. So, oh, I can't believe he had you on this, and on that one, you know. Finally, the last good one I had before I moved here, where I had to go to just a regular medical center, health center, until I got my doctor I have now. The last psychiatrist I had was awesome. Her name was Nancy, and she was into comic books and shit, and we had a lot of stuff in common. And she would let me dictate what I wanted to be on. You know, I'd be like, hey, you know, what do you think about that? I don't know, you want to try it? I'm like, yeah. She's really cool. The problem there is, you know, when you let the patient decide what they want to be on, well, I mean, I had Adderall, instant release, maximum dosage you can take. I think it was 300 megs a day to 150 megs, instant release, the kind you could snort. I had that. I had Klonopin, which I would rotate with Xanax and Valium. Like, I'd go maybe half a year Xanax and switch out different benzo. I'd switch out the benzos for the potency. And I had Ativan for breakthrough anxiety. So I used to go into the pharmacy, and the pharmacy people, the pharmacists who are just frustrated doctors, would get so upset and jealous when they'd see my fucking drug list, and they'd always try to give me a hard time. You know, you have 2 different benzos here? Yeah. And you're on a very high dosage of Adderall? Yes. Does the doctor know this? It's like, fuckface. How do you think? Well, we have to call them. They have to call the doctor, because they want to be doctors, but they couldn't go the extra 3 years, or maybe they ran out of money, so they had to settle for pharmacist, and they're not happy about that. And they want to fuck with you any chance they can get. They want to be a doctor. But that was always a big deal. Like, you know, you get medications written for you, and they don't give a fuck about anything that could be used for fun. They'll give you fucking 2 million Prozac pills. If I came up with the script for 2 million pills, they'd just say, okay, meet the truck around back. But you bring in like a benzo, and all of a sudden they're a doctor, you know, and they're, we want to really work this out. Assholes. So you always had that going on. It kind of sucked because sometimes it was a pain to get like the mixture right of what you were getting through your doctor anyway. So, you know, by the time you were done with that, then you had to, you know, the doctor already said, this is all good, this is you, this is your script, go get this stuff. And now the fucking pharmacists, they want to be the doctor too, and now you got to get it past them. It fucking sucked. So many times they'd be like, oh yeah, you have to stand over here, the pharmacist wants to see you. Oh, come here, and they wave you over with their fucking condescending pharmacist finger. Their non-doctor finger of disappointment. You know you're on this, and that? Yes, I do. So I'm here to get it. Your doctor put you on this? No, what happens, I stole a doctor pad, and I wrote this all out. You fucking asshole. Give me my drugs. You know what I mean? It was... So thankfully I'm not on any pharmaceutical drugs anymore, except for, what do they call it? Bexor. And the reason I'm on Bexor is because I can't get off it. Every time I try to get off, I have this major meltdown. It's not good. Pharmakia is the Greek word for pharmacy black magic. It's magic. It's sorcery. It's fucking alchemy. It's not good. But it's a lot better than what it used to be on. So I'm still trying to get off that. Done videos about it before, about my fucking problem trying to get off Vextra. I gotta go in the house now. What are we talking about? Ireland? Mental health? Regular shit. The greatest hits. Demons. We got some of that in there too. You know, all spiritual war stuff. All spiritual war related. That's why I'm your spiritual war correspondent. Or one of. I don't know how many else you may have. I'd appreciate it if you let me know though. Because it seems a little bit, you know, seems a little bit sus that you'd be checking in with another spiritual war correspondent. Am I not, you know, am I not living up to my end of the bargain here? Is there, is it me? I like to think it's you. I like to think it's always you. It's never me. It's always you. Until next time, thanks for dropping in. And don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.